Brian. McLean.
Simon, yes. Good.
How's things?
Good, thanks. Good.
That was your first wee run out today at Nethercraigs, I think, for a while.
It was, this COVID I had, yeah.
Tell us about the COVID, Con, how was that?
It was, well, I've had my booster, so
Right.
so that's 4 jags I've had.
Right.
So I felt okay, the fact that I felt quite safe, but unfortunately, you get into Glasgow without your mask on,
Yeah.
and that's what
Do
happened.
you know where you got it?
No, I don't know where we got it, we just got it in Glasgow.
You both get it?
My boy got it first.
Right.
We went into Glasgow on a Wednesday. We had been on holiday, we come back, we're all right, no problems. Into Glasgow on a Wednesday, didn't wear my mask, and my wife got it on the Saturday.
You up the dancing, were you? Was it up that?
Nearly. Victorious.
Victorious. Or Clatty Pats or one of these play. I know what you're like.
I know.
We'll come to that. We'll come to that in your earlier days. Tell me about walking football, Con, because you're unusual that you've been a coach for many, many years, involved in boys football and all, involved in football of every description. So did the walking football come to you through Glasgow Life? Is that how you came about walking football? Or was it?
No. There's a friend of mine, in fact, we call ourselves the Jolly Boys. We used to meet up every couple of months for a drink.
For a jolly?
For a jolly, yeah. And my mate's brother would say to me, "Go on, I'm playing walking football." And this guy was quite a good football player. And I'm going back 5 or 6 years.
Right.
So he was playing. But then
Whereabouts?
Over at Drumchapel at the Goals.
Right, okay. So that
just
was
off the
before
boulevard
Glasgow Life, around about the same time as Glasgow Life started Glasgow Green.
I think so. And maybe even before that, I'm not sure.
So that's
he
up
was
at the
first
golf
one
centre?
out there.
Up at the golf centre?
Yes.
I know where you are.
So he was the first one that told me about it. The
Right.
only thing was he didn't like running. He hated people running.
Right.
He says, I'm stopping the walking football, come on. I says, why? He says, oh, they're running. So I think Aldo must have been...
Did he say they were running and no passing? Because then it was
He never
Aldo.
mentioned any passing, it probably was Aldo. He says, but so that's all.
Did you go up and try it up there?
I didn't try it, no, because I was still playing. I was playing 5-a-sides.
What did you think when he said walking football?
I didn't. I
Same
thought
as everybody else.
I know. I said no. I'm still playing 5-a-side. I thought that was a wee bit quicker and things like that. You know.
What age were you at that time then, Con?
68.
68. And you heard the term walking football and thought, that's not for me.
Aye.
That just shows you, doesn't it?
Well, unfortunately,
Now we've got people in their 50s playing walking football and enjoying it.
Great. Oh, I got my son as well. He's early 50s.
Con Junior, yes.
So to persuade
He is a
him,
runner.
he was saying, definitely, he's a runner, all right.
So much so we had to give him a St. Pat's because they were runners. Good player. So when did you first try it?
Was when Matt said to me, why don't you go along and...
Were you working for Glasgow Life at this point?
I have been working for Glasgow Life. In fact, I've been working with the council since 1993.
For goodness sake.
So
before Glasgow Life?
Before Glasgow Life, it was...
That's 30 years nearly.
The guy that started it was...
And that was you retiring then?
The guy called Tommy Wilson, who played with St Mirren.
Yes.
Tommy was the SFA Coach Development Officer.
Right.
And he says, right, I'm looking for some coaches we're going to tie in with Glasgow City Council.
Right.
And do some schools and things like that. So
that was the start of that?
That was the start of that.
Okay.
Aye. And we were based at Scotstoun.
Okay.
And we had, on a Saturday morning, for the first session, we had 70 children.
Oh, for goodness sake. Was this part-time, Con? Were you still
working?
working?
We were actually employed by the SFA.
Okay. What did you do for a living?
I was self-employed.
Right.
No, I wasn't self-employed all my life, but I was self-employed in the 90s then.
Okay, what was your business? You had your own business?
I was consultant for oil companies.
Right. Okay.
So
we could go down that road, but it's going to be really boring.
That is,
that was a pun. But it would be.
You told me for that one.
We'll stick to football because a 30-year career with coaching with Glasgow is worth exploring in itself, isn't it?
Aye.
So take me back to 1993 then, because how did that fit in with schools? Remember schools football?
Yes.
When the teachers and the head teachers, they were really the link between professional football and amateur football.
That's
it was schools football.
Yeah.
But that changed probably about that time.
Yes.
And it became more of a community thing through the council.
Yeah, that's right.
So places like Bellahouston, public parks,
Aye.
Was Bella Houston a football centre at that point?
No,
it?
no, it wasn't. No.
It was just a gym. It was just
that's right.
Yeah, swimming pool.
The schools, the teachers would contact the council and they would get us in to do a wee session.
Right.
I mean,
so the school pitches really we were using.
The school and in gymnasiums where you were small and it was you had quite a lot of children, so it was tough, to try and get them to do their wee drills and all the rest of it,
Because it was all new to everybody.
That's right. Aye.
Did you go on a course then in 1993?
No, I retired from football when I was 43, so about 19.
You stopped playing when you were 43.
I stopped playing amateur when I was 43.
Who were you playing for at 43?
Carlton YMCA, the Big Davy.
Right.
Big Davy.
It's another story.
Aye. So
okay.
that was because we moved over to Houston. So we played the Scottish Amateur League, the Paisley League.
Right.
But no, it was since the late 70s. I played with different amateurs, and we moved to Houston. And just then, I decided to get into coaching. I took the different amateurs second team.
Right.
And I managed to go and get my badges, C badges, all the rest of it. And then I decided to go for my B badge.
Okay.
And that was in the 80s.
It's a semi-pro badge.
Aye, yes. And I did that, and that was at Largs, and I was overawed by the fact that you couldn't, these people,
In McLean Centre.
Oh aye, David Pro, and
Craig Brown,
Randy Roxburgh,
all these guys.
Archie Knox and all them, they were all there.
Did Jose no go there as well? Did he not do his
he was
badges?
after me.
He was after you.
He was after me, aye, that was after me. No, it was Martin Buchan and he got chased because Andy actually elevated him up to an A licence and he couldn't handle it. It was just too much. So he lasted a couple of days.
Wow.
Which
some player as well.
I didn't think he would, But Big David Moyes was there at the time and all the rest of it, Big Billy Start, and it was great guys.
They were doing the course that you were doing?
No, the ones that were doing was Willie Miller, Alan McLean, Tommy Burns.
Right.
Jim Duffy,
I've heard
Eamon Bannon, they were all in the course. But then, no, it was good. The guys were great. The guys were fantastic. These pros,
Because when you say on a course, it's not a day or anything like that. It lasts a whole year, doesn't it? And you're back and forwards and assignments, and you need to go and visit clubs and stuff like that.
Aye. Well, at that time it was only Easter in the summer.
Right.
You're there for a week intensity in the summer, and it was. I was in my 40s, remember,
Yes,
and
you'd still been playing.
When you asked to do a wee demo with 1v1 against wee Gordon Strachan, who was still playing at the time, I just keys. That was it. But that was my badges. I failed the A badge twice. I did it with Jim Duffy and Tommy Burns and that, and then I went back the following year to do it, and it was I'm trying to remember now who was on that one. The wee Alan McCoy's pal at Rangers. What was his name? Kenny McDowell.
Okay.
Kenny McDowell.
I was going to say Duran.
I know it was Kenny McDowell. Was doing it. I'm trying to think of who else now. Matt McGee.
All right.
Gordon Strachan was on it as well.
Right.
They were in their squad.
Yeah.
Right. So they were, and that was. And then when I didn't get it, then I said, "Oh no," because it was hard for if you weren't a pro, you weren't voted. You need to be exceptional.
Is it a clique?
Oh, I would say so.
Yeah.
And that.
Yeah.
In the days it was aye. Yes. In the days it was aye.
And there was guys came through who weren't professional footballers, like Roxburgh and guys like that. That was a new thing back then.
That's right, aye.
What do you think, Con, of the theory that to be a good manager has got nothing to do with having been a good player?
I think that's fair. I think that's fair.
Good, because I think there's still hope for me yet as a manager. That's reassuring. For you and I, taking the Glasgow Life team over the next couple of months instead of you and me.
Oh, you just need to look at your man, Mourinho, So,
yes, yeah. And there's been plenty like him. In fact, there's very few exceptional players become.
No, that's right.
Dalglish, maybe you could say.
Aye.
Platini when he was on the go.
Yeah.
Cruyff was a good manager, wasn't he? But there's very few. There's a handful.
Right.
Most of the exceptional managers, I'm thinking of the Jock Steens and the Shankleys and whatnot. You could say Walter Smith. They were never great sheiks.
No,
they were professionals.
Right.
They were solid journeyman professional players.
Jock Steen.
But they had some kind of management skills that made them exceptional.
Aye.
Yeah. That's interesting. Did you know Jock Steen or any of these guys?
No, I didn't know Jock Steen. I knew.
We should rewind a wee bit because I'm still trying to pin down the walking football. So when did you try it?
So the walking football, It was you and I were at
I'd get the
what do you
blame.
call it? The arena,
dance.
Emirates Arena, and it's pouring rain, and we went in to get equipment, and Matt said to you, "There's your man."
I remember this. I was
And he
picking
says,
up my gear.
That's right, and I was picking up gear as well. They said you could play what football, and you come in and said to me, "Aye, well, the boys were playing this morning
Yes.
in the rain." And they
Right.
said the first session after COVID.
So you were already one of Matt's coaches for the football
That's right.
development. Because we
I was
forget
there.
that there's a much bigger picture with kids from 2 and 3 years of age.
Well, I've seen them all.
So that was you.
The
That was Matt trying to get you.
to play a lot of football.
Right. And I coached you to come along to Bell. Was it Bell?
Bella Houston, aye.
And that was you.
No, it was Dennis Donnelly. Sorry, I tell you, Dennis Donnelly.
Right.
Aye, that's it.
And tell me your first impressions then. Because up until then,
I thought it was great.
you're 68 years of age, you poo-pooed it so many times. Matt had obviously been trying to get you to come along,
Yeah.
and you'd poo-pooed. You came along at Dennis Donnelly probably to shut him up, yes, so that you could say, right, I've been, now leave me alone. And you're on the park 10 minutes, and that's it really, isn't it?
Well, I thought it was great, you know.
Because that's what we say to folk, if you just try it, you'll realise it's just
Yeah.
football.
Yeah.
The walking's a misdemeanour, it doesn't do us any credit, the walking.
But I've got to remind my son when he's playing, I says, you've got to remember, some of these guys have never played football, you know, at a decent level. So you've just got to go with the flow and just, you know.
Yeah. I think today was a good example, because you've got a couple of really good players.
Aye.
You've got most of us that can play football and enjoy it, and you've got 2 or 3 who are just starting the game or
That's
just
right.
learning the game.
Yeah.
So you have to bring the whole thing down
That's right.
for that lowest common denominator,
Yeah.
and then everybody can enjoy it.
Aye.
And it was a good
Definitely,
session.
definitely.
It helps when the sun's out. You were relaxing in the middle of the park there. I thought you were going to bring a deck chair out in the middle of the park there. Directing traffic.
That's
what you were doing. I kept turning around expecting your arms to be going. Because you're telling everybody what to do. Which is a coach after 30 years, you don't lose that. So you're still coaching now? I know you're still coaching.
Saturday mornings, right?
And you're still doing the walking football
Still
like I
doing
do, that's
football,
great.
and that's
What's on the Saturday mornings then?
Saturday morning, it's the creative player,
Right.
and the soccer school is as well. So we
Are
do
these-
2 sessions.
Are these Glasgow Life sessions?
Yes.
So
yes.
tell us the Glasgow Life sessions. Tell us a wee bit, if you know it, Con, about the structure of starting off the Tiny Tots session that we do.
Aye.
That's just kids running about,
that's
isn't
right.
it?
That's right.
But it's to get them used to being in a group.
These are all new things. Remember when I was there at the start, that they didn't have anything like that.
Okay.
They didn't have
This
any.
is all grown.
It's growing into this. So the Tiny Tots thing, the 3-year-olds and things like that.
Okay.
Which I just steer away from it because it's. I think it's not my forte, you know.
It's not really football.
No.
It's just to get them.
But it's good for them. It's
yes.
good because it's. I mean, even at ours, we take the 5. The first session is 5 to 8-year-olds,
Okay. What's that called?
and that's called creative player.
Creative player.
Aye,
Okay.
aye. So that's quite good because we work on the coordination as well,
Okay.
and it's great when you see players, boys or girls that come in, and you can see their coordination's out the window here, you know. But see when you see them improving,
Yes.
and you see
That's the
great,
reward.
look at that, you know.
Yeah.
And then their parents are saying, "I've seen a difference in them." You
Yes.
know, they come back and say, "I've seen a difference in that." You think, "Oh, that's great," you know.
And see all the benefits of walking football that we talk about, like socialising and team play and all. They all apply to 5 to 8-year-olds as well, don't they? They're learning how to interact, their communication skills, teamwork, how to share, how to work as a unit, problem solving, you name it, it's all in
Well,
there.
the only
isn't
thing
it?
we don't have at no yet in walk football, they don't come in greeting.
Well, not yet. Are you talking about the 5 to 8-year-olds
Yes.
don't come in greeting?
No, they come in greeting.
Well, that's what I do, that's for sure. They greet in private. They grab me. I don't get in here until 5:30 because of the greeting outside the morning. We decided yesterday we're going to have a special award this year for the Money Player of the Year.
Oh,
And there's a few candidates.
definitely, definitely.
It's going to be hard fought. So that's a 5 to 8 creative player.
Yes.
Parents bring them along.
Yes.
And there's that side of it too, now that we're out of this COVID situation, that the parents can stand aside and have a chat and have a coffee.
Aye. All our coaching is done in the wee 5-a-side course at Scots, and
Right.
so the parents are outside, you know. Sometimes you get the odd one that's maybe trying to get their boy, just encouragement, but some of them are giving them instructions, so you've got to say to them, listen,
just leave it.
Anytime you're shouting at him, he's turning around to get your approval. Just
of course.
So and I always say to them, just shout encouragement. Well done, all this. Keep that. I says, but don't be putting them. Do this, do that, do the next thing.
Who's the worst, Moz or Daz? They're both the same.
Both the same, I would say.
I used to referee the boys' football. I loved the boys' football because it's like you say, the rewards you get from it, seeing them enjoying it. But the parents were a pain in the ass, they really were. Maybe they're a wee bit better educated now because of the coaching system, stuff that you're doing, Con, that they're coming through. But some of the parents lose it. And the kids are usually fine. You're talking 10, 12 years of age. They just got on with the game.
That's right.
It's the parents on the touchline that wind the whole thing up, shouting at referees and all that. That's my nutting. So that's one lot that you do as a creative player. What was the other one you mentioned?
Soccer school.
What age group was that?
That's 9 to 13s.
Right. So we're getting into the end of primary, starting secondary school here.
Yeah.
Is that associated with the schools at all?
No. These are just
weekends
off the street.
Right.
Which I think is great,
Right. Brilliant.
All welcome,
Yeah.
We've had a few
Is that Scotsman as well?
Scotsman, yeah. Scotsman, yeah.
Sorry, what were you saying about asylum?
There's quite a lot of asylum seekers come, but and their English is not all that great, so you've got to slow it down a wee bit and try and get them understanding.
And at that age they pick it up pretty
They
quick.
never.
And football's kind of universal language, isn't it? It's such a powerful tool for so many things.
Yeah.
So that's your Saturday morning, pretty much taken care of.
Yeah. Aye. It's a Friday night taken care of as well, obviously.
Aye. Getting an early night.
Aye. Well,
preparation.
But I stop with. That's it, curtail, curfew at 10 o'clock, that's it, last drinks.
I've been doing interviews with some of the guys that I meet at Glasgow Green or whatever, like McFadden, guys like that. It seems that there's no ex-footballer I can speak to that you don't come on to WhatsApp and say, I coached him when he was 10 or something like that. You must have seen some players coming through there. What's the pick of the bunch, Con? Can you do that? Can you pick any?
Well, remember I coached at Celtic twice and I coached at St Mirren twice.
When was that?
Coached at Celtic 93 to 97.
Right.
And coached at in 2006 to 2008, and then at St Mirren 87 to 91, I think it was, and then again just after I left Celtic the first time with Murdo and McKinnon. What would that be, about 99 or something like that, 99, 2000 or something.
So, although you're saying you were a consultant in the oil industry and all that, football's been your life, really, hasn't it?
Tell my wife that.
Aye. I don't know. I get that feeling. So, working with Celtic, who were you working with then the first time you went there?
Again, that started at Largs. I came off the park and talked to. I was going up to the building, and Tommy Craig was there, and I said to him, by the way, if you're looking for any coaches, just give me a wee shout, Tommy. Aye, I'll do that. And here, sure enough, he phoned me.
Right.
I said, we're looking for a coach to help us out with the under 15s at that time.
Right.
So I said, aye, all right. So I did that, and then the next year, that was when Liam Brady was the manager.
Right.
And then McCarry came, he was the manager.
Didn't last long either.
No, Tommy Burns came. I had the under 14s, and Tommy Burns came in and asked me to liaise between them, the club and the boys' club. So I was a liaison. I went to their meetings,
right?
Just to find out about what they were doing and all this carry on. And because all the boys were under the auspices of the Celtic Boys Club.
Okay.
So I was coach, and that was I'm trying to think. The team I had was Mark Brown, who was went to Rangers.
Yes.
I had Jamie Smith, who played for the Celtic first team.
Name sounds familiar.
Went to Aberdeen, then went to Holland.
Okay.
I had 5 of the boys signed for Celtic.
Right. That's a lot out of one batch.
Aye, 5 of them. Brown went to Rangers. One boy went to Motherwell, one boy went to Queen's Park. And in fact, if you see some of the guys at Queen's Park, you probably remember them. A guy called Frankie Carroll. He was a full back when I had him under 14s, but he ended up a striker with Queen's Park. Scored a lot of goals.
Con, when I was, I'm trying to think, well, my daughter would be about, so we're talking mid-90s. I ran a tournament down in Campbelltown for cystic fibrosis. And Brian McGinley came down and refereed. He was superb, he was brilliant. But Rangers sent an under-17 team down. Presley was the captain of it. And a long story with that I could go into all day about that event, because it was superb. But one of the Rangers coaches at the time, Cooper I think his name was, we were watching the final, which I think Rangers won about 14-0 or something, because they were a different level above, you know what I mean? And me watching them as the ref or the linesman, I think I was in the final, I would have thought every one of them would have had a future in football. Yeah. And Cooper said to me, if we get one, we're doing well. If one breaks through every year, then our job's successful.
That's right.
Because there's such a wastage in there, isn't there? That they just don't make that extra. What makes them make that grade? Is it falling by the wayside? Is it a negative? Is it because of girls and booze and fags and their studies and dedication? They just haven't got enough will to do it? Or is it they're just not quite good enough? I think that's an accumulation of all these aspects, you know, because when you think about it, you know, I mean, I don't know how many boys once they sign professional think that's it, I've made it, right, and I don't need to do anything else. When I was at St Mirren, they had a wee guy there. They signed a Spanish internationalist, Victor. He came with Stevie Archibald, right, who was then the director with Barcelona as well. Okay, and Stevie and him came. And I'm trying to think Tony Fitzpatrick might be the manager, but he signed them anyway. And I was saying to the young boys, they would come in at lunchtime after the training in the morning, and they'd get ready, and away up to play snooker or whatever. And I said to some of them, look at this. Wee Victor is back out in the park, back out. Taking free kicks or whatever.
Doing everything, doing the whole lot, So that was that. I says, look at that, news are going away. You know, he's got a different outlook. Outlook in what they should be doing.
So that's the biggest factor.
That's the biggest factor, I think.
I was thinking about at the golf yesterday. I was watching the golf Scottish Open yesterday, and I was thinking that most of these players, the top, I don't know, a couple of hundred anyway, are all pretty much as good as each other when it comes to striking the ball, putting, chipping. You know what I mean? And you look at the figures, they can all hit the ball for miles, and some of them are probably straighter than others, but it's always the same handful that are really winning the majors, and you know, they excel, and it's got nothing to do with their skills, or it's in here.
That's right.
And that's probably the same in any sport.
I would say so,
What age does that kick in then? Because we were saying, that's interesting, because we're saying it 2, 3, 5, up to 5, they're just having a carry on. They're just up 5 to 8, they start to learn about team and about communication and basic motor skills, coordination, as you put it. After 8, then they start to play organised football, I suppose. Where there'll be a wee 5 aside, or there'll be a wee 7 aside across the pitch with a wee ball. That's it. So they're starting to learn the game then, and the basic skills of control and etc. etc. Because I remember Cooper saying to me, Simon, if you watch, most of these boys in the other teams have never been taught how to kick the ball properly. They've never been shown what part of their foot to use.
That's right.
Basics like that are missing from a lot. So let's say you've got a kid that's 10 and looks the part because they've got the basic skills. What's the path for them then? From 10 onwards, what would you do? What would you do if you saw a boy like that and thought, you must see them all the time. You must see. So what's the path for them?
I would say that it's just the fact that you put them into the small-sided games, and then you just give them a wee bit of idea of how to play the game, movement and all the rest of it. You know, I think movement's really important. I mean, when I was at Celtic, I always did a wee drill, which was a switch of play. Switch of play, because if they get the head down or channeled into that, then it's no use. You know, you've got to get the head up and look to play. And I did a wee drill. It was 2 squares. And all you did was keep possession in 2 boxes, playing possession football. Then all of a sudden, if you got a touch of the ball, then you had to play the long pass into the other side, and the guy had to sprint on, get it, try and get it, play possession again.
Okay, to open it out.
That's right. So just a diagonal switch, and then I asked the guys to do it at the game. But obviously you've got to say to them.
And is that about 10 years of age? Is that when?
Well, I was a wee bit older than that. I think about 12, 13s. You know. I'll be getting them that, and they'll be looking to get their head up and play and expand the game a wee bit more, rather than be channelled into just wee corners of the park, you know.
Okay, so let's look at all the 12, 13-year-olds out there who we're speaking to their grandparents just now.
Aye.
Some parents and mostly grandparents. What tips would you give those 12 or 13-year-olds that think, I could be a football player?
Aye.
So I thought that when I was 12
I know,
or 13.
aye,
Does it you?
Aye, definitely. What I think that's different nowadays.
And I get no guidance whatsoever.
No,
None
I was
whatsoever.
the same. I was the same. He played in the street and all the rest of it. And,
My father never once saw me playing football.
No, neither did mine. No
interested.
No. In fact, my father wasn't interested in football. Just, full stop, you know. But I mean, that's
my dad was in Lisbon and all that. That's all right. Watching the Celtic was all right.
Oh no, my father just didn't like football. He was a chess player, funny enough. He preferred chess to football, you know.
Wow.
But anyway, my uncle took me to football. Someone introduced me to it. So, but no, I would think that at that age they've got to be shown. They've got their basic skills, so they've got to be shown how to integrate that into a game, into a team game.
Right.
You know. That's
Do the schools still have teams? Do we still have schools football?
I think we do. I think we do,
Right.
because one of the coaches that used to coach with us at Scotland, he's at Jordan Hill,
Right.
and some of the boys that come to us, I'll say to them, "Do you know Jerry?" And Jerry takes the older team, so he would take the secondary boys, whereas these wee boys would still be maybe latter stages of primary.
Okay.
You know.
So for a young boy at that age, that's good. That's got all those. But what should he do?
I always tell
Find
him,
a club. Is one game a week enough for him? Because I used to play Saturday morning for the BB, for the school. Saturday afternoon for the BB.
Right. Yeah.
I played for the Scouts at one point as well. And then on a Sunday it was a bounce game. There was always a bounce game at the park on a Sunday.
Aye. Well, I mean, I think the children nowadays, I think it's down to that as well. Remember, you know. So
it's expensive.
Aye, to play all the games, you know. So, but no, I would think.
And what do you know about the Pollocks of the world and the Giffnocks of the world and the Benburbs and all that? Because they're all starting soccer centres now.
Right, aye.
Are you involved with any of them
No,
yet, Con?
No.
Because you've got a Pollock top on there.
I know, aye.
Despite the fact it's got 67 on it, I think you might still be welcome over here. Because we've got, I think Jackie at Giffnock was saying they've got 1,300 on their books at Giffnock.
Aye.
Of all ages.
Uh-huh.
We talk about, you know how we used to say nappy to nappy?
Aye.
Well, now they've got a sponsor that's Little Funeral Homes. They're doing well out of this because I keep mentioning them, and it's box to box. Since Sturgeon's given us this box for a baby or something, it's now box to box. So there's all these soccer centres and community hubs starting up, and lots of clubs are doing it like Pollock. I think Pollock have got 900 or so kids coming through here every week as well.
Well, when I was talking about the coaching a way back, when we first started, we had 70 in the first session, we had 40 in the second session. We're on for 3 hours in the morning initially.
Right.
And this last session was the older boys up to 16, 17s, I think, and they had 15 there.
Right. But
David Moyes, his brother, Kenny,
yes.
he spotted this. His 2 boys came at that age.
The 15s?
To the younger ones.
Right.
And they spotted this. And he started Broomhill Sports Club.
Right,
And
he
look where he is
realised there was a market there, aye.
So good luck to him, you know.
That's the name of the game. And there's plenty to go round, that's for
right.
sure.
Aye.
The more the merrier in a lot of respect.
Yeah.
You said you played amateur, did you never manage?
No. I did. Latterly, I did. I took the second team in Giffnock. I took them.
Right. Not like it?
No, really. No, not really. We won a cup tie, and a guy threw his beard. He just threw his beer over me, you know, because he wasn't playing. But we met in the clubhouse.
One of your own players?
Aye.
Right.
We met. He was the captain too. We met in the clubhouse at Cartha. You know Cartha?
I did.
So we met in the clubhouse there. So we had the team picked. He was playing, the captain.
Right.
Guy came over to me, Con, Ronnie's been drinking. I went, oh, okay.
This is the captain guy?
Aye.
Off the team.
So he told me later on that he hadn't been drinking, and I said, okay, but
You
we
just
won
had
the
to have a
cup.
can of beer?
We won the cup, you know, and he came round and I just went, all right.
Good news.
Aye.
Did he get a medal?
He got a medal.
And you won it. You won it as well.
Aye. But the team I had at Celtic, they were fantastic. It was before the
Did you manage that team as well?
Aye.
Yeah.
Before the youth setup started, the pro setup, it was still the boys' clubs. But the Uniteds were in it, St Johnstone were in it,
Right.
Rangers were in it, and we were in it.
Okay.
And the boys did just wiped everybody away. We won the league, won the cup, and we won a tournament in Holland.
It was just that year,
just a year.
It's like Fergie's kids,
Aye.
the button.
They were a good bunch of guys too, And then
Well,
the following year,
it's that chemistry with them as well. It's a
that's
big part
right.
of it, isn't it? That they all got
Definitely.
on, they become a real team.
And James McFadden was the next year. He was the year I took the 14th.
Well, that was the question.
Aye. So but he was always going to Motherwell. He was, because I used to say to him, I'm training with Motherwell. I can't make a training during the week. He says, just the one night. I says, right, okay.
See, when you watch a game, say 13, 14 years of age, if we went out just now and watched one at Andy's, they don't call them that anymore, they call them the 2007s or something, It's sort of, if we went out and watched them, do you think you can tell the 2 or 3 or the 4 or 5 or whatever that have got potential to go on?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Is there exceptions to it though, because they've just not matured yet, or they're just...
There's exception to the fact that, the progression, development, as you put it,
Yeah.
development. If they can develop good and without any
Good
hassles,
habits, good habits. Yeah,
The habits
that first
are
touch,
great, that's
and
right.
the body shape,
Yeah,
and
yeah. And because I was surprised, I was talking to there's a boy that plays for Scotland now, and he came through Scots, and he's at Celtic playing for the B team. He just turned 17.
right.
But his younger brother is coming down on an odd Saturday morning because he's playing on a Saturday morning, so he only manages the odd one, and he come down. And I was surprised his development is really good. And I was saying to Jamie, I says, look at Murdo there. I says, he's quite good. I says, look at him, how he's progressed. He's lost a bit of weight for a start. He had puppy
Right.
fat.
Yeah.
Lost that for a start. I says, and look at him developing now. And he's only 12.
Right.
I
Right.
says, he's going to be a player.
So you can see a streamline
Aye,
there.
aye.
Yeah, if he
Yeah.
wants to be.
That's
That's
right,
the
aye.
bottom line, isn't
Aye,
it?
aye.
Because for every one that like that, for
That's
every
it.
100 like that,
Oh, aye,
there's maybe
aye,
one
aye.
or two that ever
Well,
do.
I'm
go
feeling
through.
sorry for this boy because he's playing for Scotland under 17s, and yet I noticed in the papers they're saying Celtic are signing the boy from St Mirren,
That's right, aye.
and he's a left back as well.
Aye.
So you're like, wait a minute, he must play in the same team because if he plays for Scotland under 17s, this is where
Aye.
he plays as well.
It's a bit daft, isn't it? It's
I
a
would
bit
say so.
strange, a bit
Aye,
strange.
aye.
You see that all the time in professional
Not unless they want to
football.
maybe say, oh no, he can play in midfield.
Maybe want to farm him
out. Aye, I think so. Aye.
They've got his signature now, get him out
That's
to
right.
get some experience at that age and
Yeah.
toughen him up a
Plus, they're
wee
looking
bit.
for this as well.
Aye.
That
Because they're thinking if he
Aye.
does come through
Aye.
in a year or two,
Oh,
they
aye.
just set him on.
Aye, and but with the European thing now, with the Premier League, they're coming
Yes.
to Scotland. They're looking at Scotland now for
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. So that's what the smart move would be. It would be get some of these boys
Aye,
in
aye.
and train them up. Yeah,
Definitely,
it's all the
definitely.
facilities are there
Aye.
now to do
And
that.
the boy Hickey came through Scotland too. And look what he went for there recently.
in Italy.
17 million he went to
Yeah.
Brentford.
Was he at Brentford now?
Yeah, they've paid 17 million for him.
Wow,
Aye.
he's made a fortune already. That boy, and he's hardly kicked a ball.
Aye. He's only what 20 or something like that.
Aye.
Aye. So, and he's from Scotland too. I didn't know that, but somebody says he stays across the road there. Going, that's
Was he one of your wee boys?
Aye,
was
he
he?
came through,
So
aye.
you'll not even know them.
No, I
They're
know
just
that's
wee
what I'm
boys.
saying,
You don't
aye.
know what they
The best
want.
bit about it, I coached at Rangers. I worked for Tony Fitzpatrick when
Right.
he had his wee soccer school. It's called what is it called now? It's, can't remember. Soccer Sevens or something. It's called Soccer Sevens. No, it's. So anyway, he said to me, Con, I've got a wee job at Ibrox for the holiday weekend. I says, all right. He says, we're coaching it across the road from Ibrox Park. I says, aye, fair enough. So we went there, and it was Dick Advocat was the manager,
Right.
and the coach for the youngsters was a guy called Jan Derks.
Uh-huh.
He was under
Yep.
Advocat. So he says, the boys played a tenner. And been back a good number of years, and for the tenner they get a goodie bag full of a video, no DVDs in it, a video in the days, and goodies, sweets and things like that. Can't be key rings and what have you. So, and they get their coaching for the day, a tour around trophy room.
Okay.
And that was it. So I says, right, that's great. So we were there. So I had the boys all doing a wee session, and then Jan Dirks come across, and he's got this big tall boy guy. He says, Colin, he says, when you're ready, just stop the session and I'll introduce, he's the captain of our Rangers Reserves. I says, right, okay. So I says, it's nearly lunchtime. I says, so I'll be stopping him and I'll sit him down. So that's what I did, sit down. I says, right guys, this is the captain of the Rangers Reserves. What's your name? He says, Stephen. I says, this is Stephen. I says, where do you play, Stephen? He says, midfield. So the boys are like, oh, they're all.
Aye.
So first question, how many goals you score? He went 6, and they're all like, oh, that's rubbish.
That's scored that a day.
I says, but he plays midfield. He's a midfield player. I says, that's not too bad. So I said to the boys, right, sit down. I says, that's it. Just have your lunch. I says, I've left a ball there. Don't touch it until you finish your lunch. I says, you can have a wee kick about. I said, I'm going for my lunch and I'll be out shortly. Right, that's fine. Right, so we're walking away with the guy. And he says, do you remember me, Con? I'm looking up at him. No, I've not got a clue. I said, no. He says, you coached me when I was 10 with Ian St John. I did an Ian St John camp every summer.
Oh, right.
So he says, you coached me when I was 10.
Wow.
This is him, he's 16.
Was Ian St John come to the camps, did he?
Oh, aye, he was there, aye, he was there. Aye.
I always thought it was just his
Archie
name.
used to come, Archie, he was well in with Archie McPherson.
Right.
Used to come, you know.
Aye.
But he was always there, aye. But,
So all these guys will remember you. You probably can't go anywhere.
So I thought that was all chuffed, you know. He remembered me, 10-year-old. I said, brilliant. So Stephen Hughes, he was supposed to be going to do good things, but I don't know what happened. He went to Motherwell.
Doesn't it take much, does it? Are we injured?
He went down to England or something like that, come back.
Or you go somewhere the gaffer doesn't fancy you.
That's right,
You know what
I know.
You don't fit, your face doesn't fit. It's very, very precarious career, Colin.
Aye, it's no half, aye.
So you mentioned a couple of things there. One of them was married.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think you had a big anniversary recently, did you? I saw that.
Aye,
on social
5 years ago now.
Was it? Was that
Gold
the 50?
Golden wedding, that's it.
50 years, 55.
Aye.
So what's the next? What's 60? What do we call that?
Diamond.
I don't think anybody knows.
Don't tell him that it's a diamond, I think.
Congratulations. I don't know if it's congrats or commiserations.
We were both young. I was only 20 and my wife was 16, you know.
Where are you from, Con?
Sunnygavan.
You're a Govan boy, are you?
I was brought up in Rumman Road. No,
Right.
I was like you, I was born in Snob Hill. I never get a chance to ask
You know, I was
my mother.
born. You've been watching these
Watching
things,
these
haven't
things,
you?
aye. So one thing I regretted, I asked my mum, why was I born in Snob Hill? Because my sister, who's a year younger, she was born in the Southern General,
Of
which
course,
was
for
there.
the Govan.
Aye, but I don't know why I was born. But I don't know if it's because there was no national health when I was born.
Right,
The service never came into 1948.
that's right.
Aye. So I don't know if that's the case, I'm not sure. But I brought up, and what I remember about Brumman Road was the Rangers supporters going up to the game,
Every other
and I had a wee trike,
Right.
and I had ginger hair, curly ginger hair, and I remember they were all going out of your hair, you know. Alright, son! So that was it. But brought up in Brumman Road.
And who you named after? Who's the Con? Is Con your full name?
Cornelius.
Cornelius, right? See, you learned something. That's great. So I knew a few Connors and Connells,
that's
and
right.
I've known a lot of
Aye,
different
aye.
Cons.
No,
No wonder you shortened it. Imagine that on the park.
I know. Well,
By the time I asked you for a pass.
was Cornelius, but
Right.
that was his surname.
That's right. Aye. So we'll stick to Con.
Aye.
And
No.
your mum and dad, what did they do?
My dad was a Navy man. He worked in the Fleet Air Arm.
Right,
In fact, he was lucky because he got posted to America,
right,
and he met up with another Cornelius who's his uncle,
right.
who's
Is that who you're named after?
that's who I'm named after. Aye,
Right.
aye.
Do you have any middle names?
Michael.
Cornelius, Michael.
Aye.
Any more?
No.
Got information there?
Oh, I got Patrick.
Actually, you don't use that. No. That's always it. What are the initials? I'll need to figure that out.
I said that to Tony Fitzpatrick because he said, I've got this is my grandmother's, I always wear this with pride,
Right.
my wee Celtic cross. She gave it to my father and he passed away. She said to pass it to me myself. I was the oldest grandson. So it's, I was wearing this and Tony Fitzpatrick said to me, Colin, you'll need to put that away and go to the eyebrows. I says, what? I says, put it away. He says, aye. I says, there's a Celtic cross at the top of the road in Houston. He says, "Aye, but just put it away." So I said to him, "All right, I'll put it away. What are you going to call me?"
Aye, exactly. We're going to dye my hair.
So I said, "All right." So,
What was your wife's name? What is your wife's name?
Elizabeth.
We better get a mention.
I know, Liz, aye.
And we'll mention Con, but you've got a daughter too?
Karen.
Aye. She's older.
She's older, aye. She's a hairdresser, mobile hairdresser.
And all the grandmains.
And the grandmains, aye.
So 55 years. What a sentence.
Just like that.
No for you.
Like
Aye.
that. Just aye. So got in and then went to Drumchapel just when I was 7.
And living in Broomland Road, going to Drum, working school in Govan, when did you get to see a Celtic? Because you're Celtic supporter, obviously.
Aye, I went to see them. I remember.
Was that your dad that took? No, your dad didn't. Your uncle.
My uncle took me, and it was the chapel bus, so there was no drink or no swearing on the bus and things like that.
A chapel bus, went to the game. Wow, from Govan.
From Govan, aye. The first game he took me to was, I remember it vividly, it was St Mirren at Love Street.
Right.
He must have taken me there because it's handy, just up the road,
Aye,
if you think about it, you know. But
Right,
Bobby Evans and all that was playing. My grandmother always related the story that she says, when you come back to the football, she says, I think I was 7,
Okay.
and she said, what did you think of the football? And she says, you said, your reply was, aye, the guys were all swearing at Charlie Tully.
That's what your memory was of it.
Aye, that was it. So that was my very first game I remember, you know.
You were lucky. I can take to Firhill.
Well, I've been to Firhill, right?
I would be 3 or 4 or something. What a curse. They're still going now. Although we did beat Steny on Saturday 2-1.
Aye. No, but it's...
So when you got married, when you met Elizabeth and got married, where did you live in Glasgow? You always been in Glasgow?
Stayed with my mother, aye. She was in a private house in Cardonald.
Right.
You know, it's a wee guy for Govan, didn't know.
Done well.
So,
Just shows you can fool some of it.
I know.
I'm edging towards something here, Con, because it came up. We had a thing we did in WhatsApp when everybody was sending photos and stuff, and it was a kind of music stuff comes up now and again, doesn't it? And you'd posted a picture of you must have been maybe in your teens or in your 20s, yeah, when you were a singer in the band.
That's it, 16 I was.
16, what was that about? What was going on then? What year would that be then? We're in the 50s?
No,
early 60s, Beatles and all that are on the go.
Maybe 64 I think it would be.
Okay.
Aye, 64.
So some big bands coming through then.
Aye, no half, aye.
What was your band called?
The Citizens.
The Citizens?
Aye, I've still got a wee ticket. The guy stayed in Moss Park Boulevard. He was a manager, and he had a wee ticket, and the thing in the ticket said, "The Citizens," and then underneath it in small writing, "Keep up with the times."
Right.
Which we didn't because
no.
we get done for money because we're all young boys. We're all 16, 17.
You weren't interested in the money at that time.
Oh no, because we played up at Drumchapel Cafe Club, and the end of the thing, I said to the guys, I said, right, we need to go and get our money. So we went to go and get the money, and the guy came back, his face tripping him. I said, what's that? He says we didn't play enough pop songs.
Right, so you're not getting paid. What kind of stuff did you play?
Mostly rhythm and blues stuff.
Right, your own stuff or covers?
No, I didn't have any.
Nah, all covers. Did you play? Are you a musician?
No, I just sang.
You're the front man?
Play the Mousy, that was it.
Play the Mousy. You're the front man?
That was it.
Are you a good front man? Are you quite outgoing?
I think I am. That's because I still do it, you know. Still.
And did you mean? Are you still playing?
Aye, we're still playing. We played the Scotia not long ago.
The Citizens, they're still here with us?
No, the Citizens. No, they're all away.
No.
They're all away. Aye.
So the karaoke band.
One boy, a guitarist came to my golden wedding. I invited him, and the wee band I knew I had. They were playing, and I said to him, do you want to play? And he says, no, not really, Colin. I'm learning. What was he learning? The cello.
Bit strange.
Yeah, nice. Good guitarist too, you know, but I've not heard them since then, you know. Cello. He's learning the cello.
So you're still playing covers?
We're still playing covers, aye.
You've not done your own stuff yet?
No yet.
Is that coming? Is the album in the
I
pipeline?
was watching Lewis Capaldi last night and I said, surely we could be able to do something like that.
But he's a legend to us all, isn't he?
Aye.
Totally.
Aye.
And who's that other guy, Jerry?
Cinnamon.
Filling Hamden on his own, you know what I mean, with a guitar.
Aye.
Because these guys can self-publish, if you like, now, you know, because of the internet. That's what he did, that's what Cinnamon did. He just put stuff online, YouTube and all that. And if it's good, it goes. It gets shared and it goes.
Aye.
But record companies can get missed out entirely. Same as book publishing or anything. Because of the internet, you've got a direct route. You know, there's some folk that play, is it TikTok they call it? They play busking.
Right.
But they film it, like we're doing now, and it can go viral. If they're any good, it can go across the world.
Yeah.
So it's a whole new medium now entirely. So you still playing gigs?
Aye, we haven't played for a while, obviously, but
with COVID.
But we played, aye. But, we played this Scotia, but that was only because.
Do you remember to get the money this time?
No, we didn't get any money.
We
got a few pints right enough, but that was all right. It's my mate's son, who's a really good guitarist.
Right.
He graduated from the RSMD in Glasgow.
That's good.
So he did
On
classical
guitar,
stuff.
right,
Aye.
yes.
And he played Edinburgh Fringe doing classical stuff. But here he get repetitive strain injury.
Right.
So he likes Hendrix. So he's got his wee band which was called the Jimi Hendrix Re-Experienced.
Re-Experienced. I know there's a Jimi Hendrix. There's loads of cover bands.
So he used to play in the Scotia, the Urban Moor. But now he's curtailed that a bit and he's just out on his own.
Right.
So he's doing that. And he was playing the Scotia and he says, would you and Con like to play a wee support? So we did that for him.
So you just did the vocals?
That's it. I did the vocals, my mate did the...
What kind of stuff?
It was more or less soul kind of stuff, you know.
Right.
It was pub stuff. I call it pub stuff, you know.
Like what? Because we've got an entertainer next door as well, Tommy.
Aye.
Tommy Twig.
Right.
He does his turn on the ships, on the cruise liners.
Right.
You know, seen his interview?
Did I?
Tommy's a singer. I've got one of his CDs.
I've
got one of his CDs.
Right.
You need to watch it because he's good.
Aye.
Blackpool and all that, you know, he's been round. But I think guys can go out now just with a backing tape.
Aye.
Or
That's
whatever
right.
you know, a disc or whatever it is they put on, like karaoke, and sing along. Nobody really is willing to pay for a band and all that now. You know, they want to take shortcuts.
What he's telling
all the
me
time.
is that his son was telling me that he says the reason I'm getting more gigs now, Colin, is because of the COVID, they can't accept cash. A lot of the pubs are not accepting cash.
Right.
So it's got to be.
Sure.
So if you're doing a card and you're not paying your tax, you know. So this is how he's getting more gigs now, because a lot of the normal punters that go in and just say no, like he's a cash right, and no declare it, you know. Yeah. So he's getting the gigs because of that.
Good.
No.
And I don't know about you, Con, I think since we're coming out of COVID, and we've been coming out, there's an urgency for people to go and do things, isn't there? People going to gigs, and I've got a pal went to see Daltrey, that Roger Daltrey the other night. There's people doing things they maybe wouldn't have done because they took it for granted.
Aye.
And now we might never see Daltrey on stage again. When's he ever going to play Glasgow again? You know what I mean?
Right.
So these things have become more precious, I think, and there's a kind of urgency to go out and see a live band.
Oh, definitely.
Or be a live band, or whatever it takes.
Yeah.
So what were the citizens like? What was your biggest gig or tour? Or
Lindella. Do you remember a club called the Lindella Club?
In Glasgow?
Yes.
No, I don't.
Do you remember Crowley's in the lane?
What lane?
Between Union Street and Mitchell Lane.
I know the area well.
Do you remember a Woolworths down there?
Yes, I do.
Yes. Well, just after the Woolworths, you could actually cut through a lane there, right through to Mitchell Lane.
The lane's still there. Yeah.
And it used to be a sports.
I remember that.
Crowley's in the lane they were called.
Aye. Yes.
Well, just there was a door. And an elevator took you right up to the top, and the Lindella Club was right up at the top of that.
That's like where the White House is.
And we were because we rehearsed next door, and this was in Priest Hill, next door, Priest Hill or Nitshill, that just on the border there. And the guy next door was in the Lovers.
Right. And he's heard you rehearsing.
So he heard it, and he says, "Would you like to come up and support us?" So that was us. So we supported Lou and the Lovers.
Wow.
I still remember her.
Saw Lulu
dancing
in the
front.
paper the other day. She's ages with you, isn't she?
Aye, a wee bit younger.
Is she?
Aye.
She's in her 70s.
Aye, she was 15. Aye, that's right. She was 15.
Right, at that time.
Aye.
What a voice.
Aye, one and a half.
And you were supporting her. Did you give you any tips?
And another band we supported, which I thought was great, was a band called the Vampires. The bass player went on to play with Marmalade.
Right.
He's a nice guy. He came out and said we were all getting the gear ready to get in, and they were the main act, so we were going in and we were getting the gear. He says, "It's not gear. No, boys, leave that. Just use ours." And they did all the Selma and Vox stuff and all the rest.
Wow.
We thought that was great.
Brilliant. That was nice.
Aye.
That was good.
So I mean, you get guys like that.
Because normally these guys are precious
That's right.
about their
Aye,
gear,
aye,
you know.
That's right.
Don't stand in my spot and
No, that's
all
right.
that.
I know. Aye.
And you just bring humph 2 or 3 drum kits back and
That's
forward.
right. Aye. No, that was it. Just use our gear. That was it.
Excellent.
So
Did you go and play anywhere else? Did you go outside Glasgow?
I vaguely remember playing something that was at a park. It was a park bandstand, and I'm sure it was over at Kirkcondurch way.
Right.
I'm sure we played there. We played another place in Glasgow. What was it called? I think it was called the Pink Panther. I don't know. But it was over Charing Cross way, and we were doing a number called it's like a David Bowie. Well, David Bowie copied the riff. It's do 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 do, and it's a Bo Diddley number called "I'm a Man." So it's "I'm a Man," and I'm singing away, and all I heard was this noise coming, and what it was the floor was bouncing with all these people, and all I heard was "We are the Fleet."
Your fan club.
So I was actually together and said, "Right, guys." So that was quite funny. So we made a safe exit.
And who are your idols then in the music world?
Oh, when I was 15, I managed to get an album. My dad was a member of. He had all the classical albums, but he was a member of the kind of library thing that was out in the days.
Yes.
And, Britannia or something like that. Was it Britannia or something like that?
Britannic.
Britannic.
Rings a bell. A club. It was a club.
That's right. Aye.
And you get an album of the month.
That's
if
right.
you didn't tell them, you didn't.
I get 3 albums, and the best one I've still got.
For joining.
Best of Muddy Waters.
Oh wow!
And that was my that was great. Unfortunately, I never seen him. He was in the what do you call it? The club up in Scott Street. Maryland. The Maryland.
All right.
Yeah, the Maryland.
I have.
Aye. Maryland was. He played there.
And you never got to see him.
Never got to see him. No.
So see, that's that era. These were the guys that really laid down the foundation of all the music that we have now, isn't it?
Aye. But that was a big hero of mine, you know.
What was the biggest concert, the biggest gig you saw then? The biggest artist?
67.
Aye.
My wife and I managed to get tickets, and I lost the tickets getting in. They dropped, but I still get I knew my seat numbers. We were 3rd or 4th through the front.
Right.
And but don't get me, a wee boy for
Where was it?
A place called Finsbury Park, Astoria.
Right.
It was called something after that, a well-known. I can't remember what it was called. Some house. No, I can't remember. But anyway, it was Finsbury Park, Astoria, and it was tax tour.
Right.
And the bill started, and it was the old curtains in the cinema. You know, the old curtains you can barely see through, and all you heard was green onions. Do, and I thought that's brilliant. Booker T and MGs, the Marquis, and then first on was Arthur Conley, because he had the Sweet Soul Music single out at that time. Then after him was Carla Thomas.
Did you go down to London to see this?
No, we were staying in London.
Right.
I left school and I worked for the civil service.
Right.
I left school at 18. I worked for the civil service in Whitehall, right across from Downing Street.
Okay.
And we went to see this, and it was Carla Thomas. After Carla Thomas, Eddie Floyd. After Eddie Floyd, Sam and Dave. And that was the first half finished.
The first half.
Second half, Otis Redding came on and just blew everybody away.
Unbelievable.
So that's, as I say, that's.
I saw something, and you see them on Facebook and stuff like that all the time. It's the old programmes for concerts, and you've got Floyd on there.
That's right.
I saw one with Floyd, Santana, The Who. You know, it's just daft now. You'd pay thousands of pounds to see one of these
That's
bands
right,
now, you know,
aye.
they were all in the same bill. And the Beatles played Glasgow, of
That's
course,
right,
the Apollo and
yeah.
the Odeon and stuff like that.
Aye.
Because they weren't who they went on to become. That's,
I wouldn't go and see the Beatles because that's what I said. Ricky McFarlane said he went to see the Beatles. I said, Ricky, I don't know how you could go. I said, oh, these screaming lasses, you wouldn't be able to hear anything, you know.
aye.
But,
That's true. You just hear the wall of noise.
Aye.
The band couldn't hear themselves
probably
either,
not,
apparently.
No.
The guy that started the festival, the big festival that we just had down south.
What one?
The big one.
Oh, Glastonbury.
Glastonbury. The guy that started, the farmer that started
Aye,
that on his
Fever or
ground.
something,
He was asked who is the best over all these years, you know, that it's been going. And he really surprised everyone. He said the best band and the best guy that we ever had headline was T-Rex, Mark Owen.
Seen him in the
Did you
Locarno.
see him? Oh, wow. And were they that good?
Oh, they were good. He went electric because I liked him when he was doing his acoustic stuff.
Right, I never
before
knew any of
before that. He was called Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Right.
Wasn't he?
So that's where the T-Rex came from. Yeah, I knew that right enough. I knew that.
It's called
was the real name.
Tyrannosaurus Rex. Aye. And they just did the. In fact, I remember we stayed in Castlemont for a wee while as well. When my son was born, we moved from Govan to Castlemont, and I went into the library and I says, "I want a book." She says, "What is it?" I said, "Well, Mark Bolan." Who? Mark Bolan book. So I got the book. It took them ages to get it for me, and I got it. And I'm saying to myself, I says, I wonder how much that would be now if I wanted to buy that. You know?
Is that an autobiography or is it somebody
It was his book, and they wrote a lot of poems and things like that. Wee things.
I think he'd have been a really interesting character, you know, he was different.
I used to listen to him on John Peel. No, John Peel played him all the time. He was always on his show.
Yeah.
You know. And that
he was well educated.
And then he became the electric man, you know, the boogie mister.
And he found that niche, didn't he?
That's right.
It was all made up after that.
Yeah,
it was all
that's right, the glitter and all that.
Just a showman, wasn't it? But it really surprised me that Tito thought he was the best that they'd had.
Aye.
Just shows you. I think the real story was that Glastonbury wasn't a big deal back in the day.
No.
And it was raining and it was all but Mark Bolan was very professional and turned up and did the set, you know. I think that was a big breakthrough for them. You remember the people that support you on the way up, I suppose, you know.
I've still got a few of these singles as well. Right after each one and things like that.
You still got albums and
I've got albums, aye. I've got quite a lot of
albums. The 45s as well.
I've still got, in fact, I've still got the Muddy Waters one. I've still got.
Right.
That's 1962 or 63 or something.
Okay.
So I've got.
And I'm just remembering the old. Is it 78s they were?
78s, aye, 78s.
We had them, I don't know, because they were very brittle.
They were, aye.
They broke really easily.
Aye.
The albums were bendy.
Yeah, that's right.
Eventually.
And some when you left them in the windowsill were very bendy.
Nightmare. Or even on the floor if the sun came in and they were lying at an angle, they all bent. And when they went on the turntable, stylus just get up and down like that. There's a lot of folk watching this who have no idea what we're talking about. Not us, Scooby. So music's been a thing right through as well then? Still go to gigs, still go to concerts? Yeah. Who have you not seen that you'd really like to see? That's alive?
That's alive. Oh.
Did you see Bowie?
No.
Were you not a Bowie fan?
No, I was...
Were you a Stones man?
Well, I like the Stones. I've seen the Stones. I've seen the Stones at Hampden.
Right, oh, that was some gig. That was the gig, I think.
In fact, nobody would go with me. I bet
my
mate's wife said, I said to her, and she said, aye, I'll go with you. So
some gigs have lived on in history, haven't they? And they've become revered.
Yeah.
Like Status Quo at the Apollo. Because when they recorded their live album, because the stage was, the balcony was bouncing 3 feet apparently. Some gigs like that.
Leonard Skinner, I've seen Leonard Skinner in the Apollo.
Yeah, brilliant.
The original mob, he came out with a bottle of Johnny, I was going to say Johnny Walker, it's no Johnny Walker, what do you call it? Jack
Daniels.
Jack Daniels, that was it, aye. But they were very good as well. But I was friendly with a guy who was in a band, the Robin Trower band, and he went to St Gerrard's too. In fact, there's a great photo, and I saw
them 4 or 5 times.
Robin Trower?
Aye. What a guitarist.
No, Jim Dewar.
Right.
The singer, bass player.
Okay, I'll take your word for it.
Went to St Gerrard's.
Wow.
Came from Kinnan Park. Aye. Well, he was in all of us. I didn't know at the time, but he worked beside my dad. Later on, there was a lot of wee things that come in and verse with my life.
Yes.
And he worked beside my dad in Butters Cranes in Kinnan Park.
Right.
My dad was a clerk there. and my dad played the music. He played the chromatic music with the big
Yes,
buttons and all
yes.
this. So it's and he said, I've been learning a guy how to play music. I says, all right, okay. And he says, so he said to me, he's in a band. I says, what band's he in? Lovers. I says, oh, we played with the Lovers. I says, years ago, I says, when I was with the Citizens. And he says, all right. So Jimmy played with the Lovers.
Uh-huh.
He played with Stone the Crows.
Right.
And he played with Robin Tour.
So a good,
Right.
good musician.
And there's a photo of five of them. Alex Harvey, Hamish Stewart,
Right.
Jimmy Reid, Billy Connolly, and Jim Stewart.
Interpreted.
Aye. 3 of them went to St Giles.
Wow. Surprised Rafferty wasn't in there as well. I'm sure there was a Jerry Rafferty.
He was a Paisley boy,
was
a
it?
Paisley boy, but they were all Glasgow. You know, Alex Harvey and all that.
And again, you don't know what's going to happen to them at that time, do you?
No, that's
They're
right.
just boys. Poor Alex.
No.
Alex
But
was
Jimmy
one
was
of
a
my
hell of a
heroes
nice
when I
guy.
was a boy.
He got us up to the dressing room at Apollo after the gig.
Right.
Aye, well, it was actually the drummer. We couldn't. My mate was with me, and I says, right, Mum, we'd seen him the year before, and he said, when we're going back. In fact,
Because they came every year.
my
trial
dad went and see them because he said, "What is he? Say hello to Jimmy."
Aye.
So they came out as the side bit, and we went. My dad worked in Lancaster University. He moved out to England. Worked in Lancaster University, and he says Robin Tour's playing. I says, right, I'll come down. I says, and I'll get tickets for us. So he came along. My dad was in his, what would he be in 70s? He'd be in his 40s, 50s, man.
Right.
And he says, I'll see Jimmy. So they came round, past us coming out, and they seen him. And Jimmy said to him, "Oh, Colin, how are you doing?" He says, "I'll see you after the gig." When they go on stage, he says, "I'll see you after." So he invited us back to the wee dressing room they had in the university. And the first time ever I had this drink, he poured it out for us. He says, "You drinking?" I said, "Aye. Tia Maria and cream."
Right.
Like a Guinness.
Cream.
Cream.
Right.
It was like a Guinness, that's what it was like, small Guinness. And I'd never had it before, never had it, you know. Since that's it. But he said, right, next year you come up and see us, we're in the Apollo.
Right.
So I looked at the stage door, and the stage door, Jimmy's from Glasgow, so stage door's chockers. So my mate says, "Colin, we're not going to get in here." So we're ready to go away, and here somebody came out the stage door, the drummer guy, and because I'd been in the dressing room,
Did he recognise you?
he recognised me, blonde hair. I'm still on his Facebook page actually. He played drums with Jimi Hendrix, this guy.
What's his name?
He's Bill Lorden, his name is.
Right.
But he's Jimmy was the guy Mitchell. His wife was expecting, and he didn't know whether he'd make the gig in America.
Right.
So he was looking for a drummer. So he asked the drummer to stand in, but here Mitchell did make it. Anyway, so that was his claim to fame. As well as playing for he played for Sly and the Family Stone. He played with them as well.
Right.
And he came out, and he seen. I says, "Oh, hi Bill, how you doing?" "Hey man." "Hey man." I said, "We're trying to get in, but not getting in." So he says, "Come with me." So he turned back and with the big bouncers. You know, like, "Hey man, they're cool." I thought, "Oh, brilliant!" I said, "Great." And upstairs, and I'm watching Archie McPherson in the sports scene.
Right.
That was at 10 o'clock this Saturday or something like that was, you know. And Robin Tour was saying to me, he said, "My boy's a great Kenny Dalglish fan." Aye.
That's quite a character, Trev.
Aye.
I had I went. My mate was going out with his first wife. No, it's complicated. She was going out with a road manager with a band called Cado Bell.
I remember
who were a
Cado
Glasgow
Bell's
band in the 70s.
That's right, yeah.
Really good band. And they were playing Glasgow. They were backing a Scottish band, Gallagher and Lyle,
Aye.
who were playing the Apollo. But the night before the Apollo, Cado Bell were playing on Circuit Hall Street. They were dancing in Circuit Hall Street. And they were looking for roadies. So the road manager who was going out with his sister said, "You guys want to do it, we'll give you a fiver, blah, blah, blah." And it seemed like an easy fiver,
Aye.
which was quite a bit of money for us in the early 70s. We must have been about 13 or 14. We're talking 72, 73. And we were getting a fiver each. So we had to turn up. I'm sure we were there quite early. We were there mid-morning maybe, for the vans coming. And the vans came, and honest to God, Con, we were lifting gear until 8 o'clock at night. It was just constant. And I always remember Cado Bell coming in, and the keyboard player, they had a wee rehearsal, they had a wee sound check for 10 minutes, and then they went away and left. I thought, I want to be a musician, never mind the roadie stuff. So we were knackered. By 8 o'clock, the stage was set and all the roadies were away. And I was doing the dry ice. We all had wee jobs to do, but the roadies vanished. The sound engineer guy came and the manager was there, but all the roadies vanished. And I thought they must be away getting a drink or something. Little did I know, when the gig finished at 1 or 2 in the morning and the place cleared, all the roadies reappeared to pack up again because they were playing in Edinburgh the next night. So they have to load the van up and be back through in Edinburgh for mid-morning to start the whole process again. We were done. We were finished. We were fiver. Washed out. And I remember thinking at the time as a 15-year-old or whatever, no wonder these guys use drugs. To keep going, because that'll be a tour they're on for maybe 3 months or 4, 6 months, doing that every other night. The same thing over and over again. But Gallagher and Lyle, I think I slept through Gallagher and Lyle because I was knackered.
I seen him in the Manfords, Benny Gallagher. He was good,
right?
Because he played with McGuinness Flint.
All right, didn't know that.
Aye.
I want to stay with you. That's the one I remember. That was a big one, wasn't it? It was everything really for them.
I'm a big Manfords fan. I like Paul Jones is. Aye. They're still performing too. He's 80. Still got the voice.
Do you know who I saw recently? They were back in big Nelson's band. Nelson McLean, who plays walking football. Bass player.
Aye.
Yeah, really good. You need to watch his interview as well. Professional bass player. And he was playing with Al Clemenson's band, who was ex-Alex Harvey guitarist. Remember the makeup and all that? And they were playing at Barrowlands. And it was Mott the Hoople that were backing them. Ian Hunter, 78. And you wouldn't know, his voice was very, very good. Do you know how it starts to go, your voice? It's yours.
Well,
you don't know, you'll be the last to know.
I'll really like to chance it now after this.
And do you know when I last saw Mott the Hoople? I don't know what year it was, mid-70s.
It would be.
They were the headline band. Do you know who the backing band were? Queen.
Really?
Aye, Queen were just getting started. They just brought out Liar Liar, was it?
Aye.
I can't remember the first single. The Liar, I think, was the album, but Queen were the backing band. There was hardly anybody there when Queen came on.
Oh my.
The main band were
Ian That's Hunter. What happens, you know, it's just...
Yeah. And now you say to folk you saw Queen in 1973 or something. We could go on all day about music. But the one thing about the music, this has happened quite a few times in here, and I'm going to miss folk out now, which is a shame because I can't remember them all. The obvious one's Tommy Twig, because he's still working as a professional entertainer. Nicky Butt, guitar. Yes, never heard him, but he did a bit. Oh, I'd have, because he was doing stuff during lockdown.
Right.
But very modest. He's not a front man. He'll hide behind you. Andy Gallagher. Bit of guitarist, I think. Cami, who played.
He played in a band, didn't he?
Yeah, and I've forgotten their name, Cami. Sorry, but a good band. I nearly had it there, and I'm sure there's 2 or 3 others I've forgotten about. We're going to need to get the walking football sessions together. Yeah, we run through. My boy's a drummer and a bass player, so we can always get him to fill in to provide for us. A rhythm unit if we need it. And Cami, as you know, has got Parkinson's, so he's got a problem with his left hand. But I can do the left hand and he can do the right. Just sussed that out, Cami. Just got it. I was always good with the old left hand, the ultravox stuff, you know. So the football con, you and I are running the Glasgow 60s by the looks of it.
Yeah.
This is going to be a 2-part interview, isn't it? Because we've hardly touched on some of the stuff I wanted to talk to you about. The Glasgow, August the 1st is the cup. I think you're taking them for that.
Yes, that's right.
And I think I've got them for the league games thereafter. So we'll have a wee chat about that off camera and see who's getting the bungs in early to get in the team.
I didn't like the fact that Colin was talking about tactics and all that. So wait a minute now.
He's got a coach in. You've not seen his interview. You need to start watching your YouTube.
I watched Colin's one.
They've brought a coach in.
I said they mentioned the coach. I don't know his name.
They beat us 1-0. And you'd think they'd won the World Cup. And it was a Chris Butt was in goals for us.
Aye.
Goals. And he was standing by the Arsenal boys behind the goal. He saw it and he moved and he lifted his leg. Do you remember? He lifted his leg, right? That was 1-0. And never heard the end of it until last week we beat them 3-1 again.
Oh, did you?
The return match.
Oh, right.
That's all right.
Aye.
Saved face. Because they're another one, they were getting the open top bus for Drumtraffic.
Oh, aye.
Who would do that? So that's great, Con. Thanks for coming in and sharing all that with us. And there's lots more to. Because you skipped over so much there, the civil service and all that.
I know,
There's a bit of James Bond stuff in there somewhere. I think we've known. And we never even spoke about a tick.
No, I know.
And you're a lifelong Celtic fan.
Aye, that's right. Aye. It was. That's what I'm saying. I was overawed when I was coaching there. You know.
Yeah.
The fact that Tommy used to say to me, on a Friday we're finishing at Barrafield. He says we'll come up and have a lunch. He says if you want to come up and join us for a lunch. I did that.
Yeah, brilliant. Where did they go up for lunch? In the stadium? In the
park, aye, just off the dressing rooms.
A gentleman, I never met Tommy, but a
great
gentleman
guy,
by all accounts.
I was relating to somebody last night about him as the boys. I used to go up the pub on a Sunday night with the guys, but because of COVID we've stopped it. We do a Skype thing.
Right.
So I was telling the boys last night, I says, one of the boys had gone to see Tommy Burns' story. It was on just recently. He went there last week. So he was telling me he was a bit disappointed in it. But I was telling him, I says, I remember getting in, I says, it was Christmas and all the scouts and coaches were in for their Christmas dinner. And Tommy was in front of me as you get the tray along, you moved it along, picking this and picking that. And Tommy was in front of me and he turned around, "Hey, Colin, you've been painting the ceiling?" I went, at first it went over my head. I went, what? I started laughing, you know. So about 2 years later, same scenario. I says, "Hey Tommy, I see you using the same paint as me." He was witty, really nice guy, you know. That was his patter. Because I was saying, I said, did they do Tommy singing? Did they do a song, Tommy singing Mac and Knife? Because that was his party piece.
Right.
He did it down the lads. Oh, aye, good singer, aye. Especially at Mac and Knife, he was Bobby Darren.
Practiced that.
Aye.
What's your party piece? What's your karaoke piece then, Con? Don't make that face. You've got. This is the one where they'll go, "Come on up and sing, Uncle Con. Come on, Grandpa." And you go, no. And you've got the lyrics off pat. 1, 2. So what is it? What would it be if you had to get up?
The recent one is Stand By Me. I was a great Benny King fan. I like Benny King. He had a great voice.
So that's the most recent one?
That was the recent. Aye, we did that in the Scotia.
Okay.
Aye. We did My Girl did that.
Right.
Did that as well.
We used to play that as well. Aye. Is there any of this discoverable online? Can we find you?
Don't think so. Hope no.
Pictures?
Oh, plenty of pictures.
Right.
No,
get some of them
pictures.
in, Chris, then.
A few pictures. Aye.
Get them up to you.
A few pictures. When I'm looking at words, try to see.
And this Christmas do, the Pollock Christmas do stand to take shape now. You better bring your Ruthie as well.
Aye.
God, it's been brilliant.
Thanks very much, Simon. I appreciate that. Thanks very much.